ಈ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ದೇವಿಯ ಕಾಲುಂಗರ ಘಲುಕ್ಕೆನಲು ಲೋಲಾಕ್ಷಿ ಮೆಲ್ಲನೆ ನಡೆ ತಂದಳು ಸಾಲಾಗಿ ಕೊಳ್ಳಿರಿದ ಸುರರ ಸಭೆಯ ಕಂಡು ಆಲೋಚಿಸಿದಳು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ. So starting from the 5th Padya until the half of this Padya, which is the 16th Padya, there is a brief description on the beauty and the form of Lakshmi Devi. Now from the second half of this Padya until the 30th Padya, there is a comparative study between the Devatas and their attributes and the immaculate infinite attributes of Supreme God Sri Hari, establishing the supremacy of Supreme God Sri Hari. E Lakshmi Deviya Kalungara Ghalukkenalu. The toe rings of Lakshmi Devi make a melodious sound ghaluk. Lolakshi mellane nadetandalu, and her wandering eyes with which she blesses the devotees are clearly seen. So with these toe rings and with that eyes with which she blesses her devotees, she came to the magnanimous stage of Swayamvara. Salagi kullirda surara sabhaya kandu. Coming there, she saw a line of devatas seated for Swayamvara. Suraru are devatas. Surara sabhaya kandu. She viewed a sabha of devatas who were salagi kullirde, who were lined up in a queue. ಆಲೋಚಿಸಿದಳು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಶಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅ ಥಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಹರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಈ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ದೇವಿಯ ಕಾಳುಂಗುರ ಘಳುಕ್ಕೆನಲು ಲೋಲಾಕ್ಷಿ ಮೆಲ್ಲನೆ ನಡೆತಂದಳು. ದಿ ವಾಂಡರಿಂಗ್ ಐಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ದೇವಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಇದರ್ ಹರ್ ಆಂಕ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಹರ್ ಟೋರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೆಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಅಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಪದ್ಯಾಸ್. ಸೊ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಟು ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್, ಸಾಲಾಗಿ ಕೊಳ್ಳಿರ್ದ ಸುರರ ಸಭೆಯ ಕಂಡು. Here there is only mention of suras, which means devatas at the Swayamvara. Why isn't there a mention of asuras at the Swayamvara? Because Bhagavata clearly says, along with the devatas, there were asuras, there were manushyas, there were gandharvas who were seated for the Swayamvara. Then why hasn't Vadiraja Tirtha mentioned them? Now, there are two or more reasons which can be given to this particular situation. When Vadiraja Tirtha has mentioned it is Surara Sabhaya, when it is mentioned it is Surara Sabhe, Sabha of Devatas, it is implied to us, Upalakshanaya, it is implied to us that accompanying these Suras, which means Devatas, there are Asuras, there are Manushyas, etc. There can be one more reason which can be attributed to this line, which is who are actually qualified ones for the Swayamvara. The ones with great attributes are the ones who are qualified for the Swayamvara. Now, who has those great attributes? It is definitely the Devatas, because these Asuras are deprived of any attribute, any great attribute that can be associated to them. From the next Padya, what Lakshmi Devi is going to do is she is going to pick up the flaws from the ocean of attributes that these Devatas have. These Devatas have great attributes, qualities, according to the hierarchical positioning they are in. There are a few flaws which can be seen at their history, and those flaws are the ones now Lakshmi Devi is going to pick up. But if you think of the Asuras, that cannot be done by Lakshmi Devi because they are completely filled with the flaws. How can we pick one or two flaws when their entire life is filled with flaws? That cannot be done. So the people who are in turn qualified for the Swayamvara are the Devatas. Asuras do not come in the list of qualification for the Swayamvara itself. We apply for an interview. We apply for so many companies. Does all those companies call us for the interview? Definitely not. It is where we get qualified, they call us for the interview. Likewise here also, these Asuras though they were seated up along with the Devatas, they do not come in the framework of qualification itself. Maybe that is why also Shivadaraja Tirtha has not mentioned about the presence of Asuras. There is one more reason which we can say why Shivadaraja Tirtha has not mentioned the presence of Asuras. Because these Asuras and Gandharvas were there, they all were in a delusion that they are the participants of Swayamvara who are trying to marry Lakshmi Devi. But the only category of people who were very clear that Lakshmi Devi is definitely going to select the Supreme God Sri Hari as her life partner and who is going to marry Sri Hari are the Devatas. Because these Devatas, being very knowledgeable, these Devatas who are the best people for understanding reality, they knew that Lakshmi Devi is going to select Supreme Lord Sri Hari and the great auspicious occasion of Lakshmi Swayamvara with Sri Hari is going to take place. Yet they participated. This is because when they participate, Lakshmi Devi, when highlighting the flaws of all these Devatas, there will be exposed the immaculate, infinite qualities of Supreme Lord Sri Hari, and through which his supremacy will be established. So these Devatas were overwhelmed by their contribution in establishing the supremacy of God Sri Hari. That is why these Devatas were lined up. They were never lined up and they never had a thought that they are the participants of Swayamvara who are ready to marry Lakshmi Devi. They were not in that delusion. Even the Devata Varuna, Lakshmi Devi here is incarnated as Varuna's daughter. Samudra Raja Varuna's daughter, right? She came out of the Milky Ocean. Varuna very well knew that it is Sri Hari who is going to marry. Yet he proposed for the Swayamvara, which is because this Devata Varuna belongs to a category of Kshatriya. The Kshatriya Vivaha, how the Kshatriya Vivaha happens is through the Swayamvara. So, in order to respect the form of Vivaha according to the category in which he is born, which is a Kshatriya, here Varuna has organized for the Swayamvara. And Varuna very well clearly knew that it is Sri Hari who is an eligible perfect match for Lakshmi Devi. Yet, as he is a Kshatriya and Kshatriya's daughter are eligible for Swayamvara, which is a proper way of them to get married, he organized for it. So these Devatas, with wholeheartedly, they participated in the Swayamvara just to highlight the immaculate infinite qualities of God Sri Hari. Now, the fourth line says, Alochisidalu manadalli. She had a thought in her mind. What was she thinking here? Was she thinking whom to select? Lakshmi Devi doesn't need any assistance of thinking or remembrance to get to the knowledge of what is in the reality. Even the Muktas do not need to think to achieve that point. Then this Nitya Muktalu Lakshmi Devi, why does she need it? She is filled with knowledge. There is nothing that she is ignorant of. Yet, when she thinks or when she acts like she is thinking, it is just the Swarupa Jnana. It is that knowledge which is already available and she reminisces of it. Which she does, maybe because of the play in which she is in. She is in the Swayamvara coming. She just takes that few seconds of time. Doesn't mean she is ignorant of whom she should select and then she is thinking of it. It is because she very well knew it is Sri Hari. But then for the play, she just takes a few seconds time and reminisces what she already knew. That Swarupa Bhuta Jnana is already there. And then she just reminisces of it. Alochisidalu manadalli. E Lakshmi Deviya Kalungura Galukennalu Lolakshi Mellane Nadetandalu Salagi Kullirda Surara Sabhaya Kandu Alochisidalu manadalli. So Lakshmi Devi now has entered into that enormous stage of Swayamvara. From the next Padya, she will pick up a few flaws from her own children's life who are the Devatas. She is the Jagannatha, right? Tanna Makkala is the first words of the next Padya. And there, from that until the 30th Padya, there is a comparison between Sri Hari and the Devatas, so that let no one in this world get confused of who is the Supreme One, who is the Master of all, who is the versatile one in this universe. Shri Krishna Arpanam Astu.